Hey team, I'm in the studio. I'm going to be making a lot of videos today because let's take advantage of it. Last video I talked about documenting things, and my mentor told me to do this a long time ago. And you know how you'll hear something, you learn something, maybe it's from a long time ago, and you're like, alright, I got it, and you go do it, and then that idea and that concept sort of like comes back again over and over again, and it'll mean certain things over and over again, and it'll produce different results over and over again. So now again, it's always great to revisit, I think, books like this. Like my mentor has read this, he said, for so many times or whatever. But now that I'm reading it and I find myself revisiting the ideas over and over again, I'm like, I could definitely see myself coming back to all of these earmarks again and again, because life just gets in the way. It's really easy to like forget about the big picture, the big concepts, these mind-blowing things like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to actually do business to make my life better, not to work harder and hate my life. It's always good to have something like this or someone like this to fall back on, where they don't baby you about your goals and they just do it. And that's something too I want to also give a shout out to my mentor. Sometimes you look for somebody to say that's okay, to pat you on the back and tell you it's going to be all right, and to tell you that your shortcomings are okay. My mentor never does that. I'm always looking for like a, please senpai, tell me it's okay. I'm always unconsciously looking for that, because if something's hard for you, like my instinct is to, it's hard to complain, right? Like my instinct is to complain, to say it's hard sometimes, and to wallow, you know, and for somebody to understand, like understand my feelings. But my mentor never does that. He never babies me. It'll be one really short sentence, and it always makes me feel a little guilty. It makes me feel a little bad for complaining, like, oh, I shouldn't be complaining. And it always perks me up and gets me right back on track, and I think that's really important to have. So anyway, so shout out to my mentor, Jeff Koga. Yeah. Look him up. You'll learn something. Like today, you'll learn something today, and it'll be something current. You won't even know. You'll be like, it'll just spark something in you. So I wanted to talk about documenting things and what that actually means. So there was something in here called quantification. If you're an entrepreneur, you have a lot of ideas, and like I said, we all have the entrepreneur hat in us, right? We all have a little bit of like idea, I could do it this way, or you know, the innovator comes out in us. Let's make it all better. And those ideas, they come, you know, like lightning. They come at random times, in the shower, in the car, for me, a lot in the car. The thing about that is that if you don't quantify it, quantification, all right, if you don't put numbers, an idea, a plan, a quantification to what your idea is, then it's just poof, it's gone. And that's why I always kind of freak out. I have a lot of notebooks that are around the house. All of them are about half full. And then I move on to another notebook because I have to get ideas out of my head and put them on paper. Because I rarely go back and read what I wrote here. I'm not writing this down to like reread this later. Sometimes I do, like if it's pretty immediate and I have ideas for a new web page that I want to, you know, basically develop and design from scratch, then for sure. But otherwise, it's basically to train my mind to get the idea out of my head and on down to paper. Because when it's onto paper, it's that much closer to becoming a reality. Okay, so what does this mean for a wedding photographer? How do we take the idea of documenting, of quantification, and actually apply it? What does that look like in my business? Okay, so I'll tell you what it looks like in my business. Chickens, I can't even read my writing sometimes when I go back to it. What's this? This guy. I love these little legal pads. On a more professional scale, I put down ideas and then they make it into a Google Doc. So the number one thing that I would say is like really necessary for, I think, any small business owner is to have an operating manual, operating procedure. It's called a standards of operation, basically an SOP. And basically it has your particular habits. Every wedding photographer should have that. That way, in case something happens to you, you have your standards of operations. And at some point, you're probably going to hire on like a second photographer and maybe want to work with them on a daily or a weekly basis or whatever, or you'll have somebody who answers your emails or somebody who goes to the meetings for you. You want a standard way of doing things that can be predictable, accountable, and repeatable by anybody that you deem worthy enough to be a part of your company. That's the first thing that I should have done, but the problem is when you are a beginner and you're a technician and you had no idea about this kind of stuff, you're starting from like literally like -10. So from the -10 scale onward, and just to get to a good solid ground zero, I feel that's what we were doing in the first year. So we took -10 steps and moved in a positive direction on the number line towards ground zero, a really good foundation. Who we are as a company and what we expect of the team members in our company, and how emails are sent, how photos are sent, how images are edited, what we expect from our lead, what we expect from our second, what we expect, all the things, basically all the things. We don't want things to be too sort of like so specified that nobody else could do it, because that will create a stop in your company where it's like, only this guy could do it. Well, what if this guy's sick? What if this guy's gone? Okay, so that's where I would start with the standards of operation, standards of procedures. What did I say? Standards of operation. Standards of procedures, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's your manual. It's your business manual. It's everything that you do from top to bottom. Put it all down in a Google Doc. Google Doc's better because then you can upgrade it and update it at any time, and you can share it easily with your team and staff. Okay? So that's what it means to document things. Another way that you can use quantification or documentation effectively in your business is to, besides when you're done doing that, okay, is to document that too. So document that sales process. That's probably your next most important step, is to document the sales process. That way you can see all the links in the chain of the sales process and be like, okay, so this is what's going on here from top to bottom when a person finds you on the internet, or when a person finds you through a friend. What are the sales processes for those different types of lead acquisitions, right? Those lead generators. You got the friend, you got the vendor, you got the website, you got Facebook. So you have all kinds of chains of sale that are out there trying to market your business and generate a lead for you, a booking for you. So you want to be able to document all of those. How many are coming in over here? How many are coming in over here? How many do you book? What's the conversion? The conversion rate of how many you book divided by how many you see, how many inquire, and then how many you actually book, and what's your conversion rate. Mine right now is 30%, which the industry standard, which I think is like 20 to 25. So we're doing pretty good. If you have any specific questions, let me know how you're documenting in your business. So this is why we need help in our business. And I'll talk about that too in that next video. So good job, team. Good talk. See you next time.